Hello history lovers and welcome back to my channel and Merry Christmas. Today I'm here with my cat Buzz, so if you hear him in the background, that'll be him. Sorry, he's just too cute to kick out. Today is Christmas Day, December 25th. A day to be enjoyed with family, friends and of course, more importantly, with food, drinking and presents. However, in 1066, this day also served another purpose. It was the eventful coronation of King William the of England, also known as William the Conqueror. If you thought King Charles III's coronation was interesting, then he's got nothing on William's. Before we start, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and let's explore the coronation of King William I. William of Normandy, as he was known, was born in around 1028 and was the illegitimate son of the Duke of Normandy, Robert, and Arlette, who was also known by another name but I can't pronounce it, who was the daughter of a tanner. William's contemporaries called him William the Bastard. In 1035, about 7 years later, William's father Robert would die, and William would be recognised as his father's heir by his family. Which I think we need to appreciate the abnormality of this, although he certainly was not the first illegitimate child to go through this. As a rule of thumb, if you were illegitimate, you were barred from succession, in this case the Duchy of Normandy, which can be seen with the Beauforts later down the line. William would then receive a knighthood from the King of France, Henry I, at the age of 15. From 1047, William would successfully deal with rebellions within Normandy, as well as an attempted invasion by King Henry I of France in 1054. William would succeed here too. In fact, William's military career was so successful, he was able to negotiate a marriage between himself, remember he's an illegitimate child, and Matilda, the daughter of Count Baldwin V of Flanders, whom he married in 1053. Matilda was a descendant of King Alfred the Great, and the couple had 4 sons and 4 daughters, and their eldest son, Robert, would inherit the Duchy of Normandy. Now, I'm not going to go into detail here because, quite frankly, after having to teach the Battle of Hastings for 6 weeks to a class of Year 5s, I've had enough of it. All you need to know is that William said that Edward the Confessor had promised him the throne in 1051 and that Harold Godwinson was sitting in his seat, so Willie comes over from France to England and has a series of battles, which concluded on the 14th of October 1066. This battle that took place on the 14th of October 1066 is known as the Battle of Hastings, where William beat Harold, mainly because Harold's troops were knackered, and claimed the throne of England. It is also worth pointing out that at his invasion of England, William was a very experienced and ruthless military leader. Despite the years of unrest in Normandy, he had managed to unify, to an extent, Normandy, and William incited fear into his subjects, and that's how he commanded respect outside of his duchy. Harold was allegedly killed with an arrow through the eye. In 1070, William built an abbey on the spot where Harold died as penance. I don't think that's going to quite cut it, mate. You did quite literally kill the King of England, and then you built an abbey to say sorry. And now for the bit you all came for. William, Duke of Normandy, aka William the Conqueror, was crowned King of England on the 25th of December 1066 in Westminster Abbey. After the victory at Hastings, William regally marched to London, putting down resistance on the way, not trusting the word of the English. William posted knights outside the abbey to put down anyone who was struggling to accept their new king. The ceremony was presided over by Aldred, Archbishop of York, instead of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Aldred spoke in English, while Bishop Geoffrey of Coutances translated the spoken words into French. You see, William didn't speak English, he only spoke French, and he never learnt English, and as a result, the court became a French-speaking court, of which the impact can still be felt today, with some of the words that still exist in the English language, such as when you say en route, ballet, brunette, cul-de-sac, etc. They're all words that have French origin. William was crowned at Westminster Abbey according to the ancient English rite, an old Anglo-Saxon order of service which required the election of the monarch. William promised to uphold existing laws and customs, and those within the abbey were asked whether they accepted William to be their new ruler. The French-speaking Normans and English-speaking Saxons would have shouted, "God held the king." One chronicler said that they all spoke in one voice, if not in one language. However, they were all trying to outdo each other in acclaiming William as the new king, and the noise of their approval was so loud that the knights stationed outside the abbey thought an assassination attempt was happening. So, they took the only rational response and began to set fire to the houses around the abbey. Smoke began to fill the church, which drove people from the coronation. But William didn't move. He sat on his throne and watched Westminster burn around him. Orderic Vitalis wrote, "As the fire spread rapidly through the houses, the people who had been rejoicing in the church were thrown into confusion, and a crowd of men and women of every rank and status, compelled by the disaster, rushed out of the church. Only the bishops and the clergy, along with the monks, stayed, terrified, in front of the altar, and only just managed to complete the consecration rite over the king, who was trembling violently. Nearly everyone else ran towards the raging fire, some to fight bravely against the force of the flames, but more hoping to grab loot for themselves amid such great confusion. The English, believing there was a plot behind something so completely unlooked, were extremely angry and afterwards held the Normans in suspicion, judging them treacherous. William remained seated as the archbishop, and a few clergy completed the service. He would be king, even if it killed him. Most people came together to try and put the fires out, but you will always have a few that take the opportunity to pillage, what some people did. It was recorded that during the chaos, William was pale and trembling, which is fair enough, but it is a rare recording, as William often appeared as a godlike victor, tall, red-haired, and potent. It was not surprising that even after the coronation, William didn't feel secure on his throne, so he began the construction of the fort that would be known as the Tower of London. This impenetrable building was William asserting his dominance over his English subjects. And to be fair to William, the reputation of the tower held for centuries. We only have to look to the Tudor era 500 years later to see this, as Lady Jane Grey locked herself in the Tower of London when trying to secure her 13-day reign, as it was believed whoever held the tower held the power. Although obviously it didn't work because it was only a 13-day reign, but that's besides the point. 3 months later, William returned to Normandy, where he would spend the majority of his reign. He left 2 joint regents, one of which was his half-brother Odo, who would later commission the Bayeux Tapestry. On the 8th or 9th of September 1087, William was flung from his horse while fighting in France, and died at St. Gervais Priory. He was buried at St. Stephen's Church in Caen, which he had founded. William had once been a ruthless and experienced fighter. He died fat and bloated, and a shell of his former warrior self. If you enjoyed this video, in spite of me being bunged up and quite clearly having a sore throat, then make sure you like and subscribe, and share this video, or maybe a better one, with a friend. And if you really loved this video, then why not give it a super thanks? I hope everyone has a good Christmas, and I will see you in the new year. And as always, have a wonderful day.